really remember all the details of the time that the ship went down. I was in the office making a working order for the fellows up on the bridge, and the lights went out, and so I couldn't do any typing. So I got up and went up top side, and everything was all. Everybody was standing there, all shaking their hands and crossing themselves and one thing or another, and there was a lot of people standing there. And I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, something must have hit us because we had a big, the ship was shaking." I said, "Well," I said, "we have to go get the post office stuff." And so I said, "Where did you put it?" He said, "It's in the carpenter shop." And I said, "Well, I can go there." I grabbed the shirt off of the line and put it over my face in case there was an explosion. And so I knew my way back there. I could do it blindfolded. So it was about 100 feet, and I got about 50 feet down there, and all of a sudden the ship just shook like a rattling a baby rattle. The whole thing, because everything is metal on that ship, and so you could hear it very well. And then I picked myself up and I went back to the end of the ship there, and there was one guy standing there, and I said, "Hey, Jackson, what you doing here?" "Oh, I have to manage the ship." He said, he's a gunner's mate first class, and he had to manage a quad 40. And I said, "Well, you don't have to do that. There's nobody to shoot the gun." So I said, "What do you say we could just go off?" And so we stood there and shook hands and took our helmets off and jumped in the water.
Now what happened?
Oh, so the ship was moving, so that there was current there. So as the ship moved away from me, the farther away we got, and I finally got way down there and away, and somebody was hollering, "Hey, Tros, Tros!" I said, What are you doing?" Well, that was a fellow from down, he's from Laredo, Texas. He was a dispersing officer, and he said, "My life jacket doesn't have any air in it." I said, "Well, come on over here." And he came over and he grabbed me by the top of the neck and pulled me right down. And he weighed 175 and I weighed about 123. So I broke through. I went down under. I came up and I said, "You don't do that again." I said, "I'll help you." And so I blew up the air in his inner tube, and so that he was floating. And then I found something else for him to hang on to. And by the way, my life jacket wouldn't hold any air. I've been wearing it for 2 years, and it didn't work. So I had to just learn how to tread water and dog paddle around. And so I got him all set and lining, and we were there for about a couple hours, and the water was really coming at us, and we were going farther and farther away because the ship was moving ahead. And so there wasn't anybody near us. And there you could look over to the side, you'd see the big ship, these ones that try to bite you good. And all I could do was tread water and hope that they don't come over after me. And so I said, "Well, I'm going to go and try to make it over to that ship over there and see whether make sure the guys will come out here. I'll tell you where you are, because you're feeling on it." He said, "I'm just fine." And so I took off, up and down and down. I never drank so much water in my whole life. But I kept on going till I got almost over there, and then there was a destroyer sitting there, and they were picking up men, and they threw me a rope, and at the end of the rope was a ball, and I hung on to that thing, and then as the ship kept moving, I went underwater again, but I still had to hang on to that ball, and every wave I would go under, and by the time I finally got up to the ship, and just as I could feel the tug of the destroyer had their ship was moving, and so it was just sucking me under, and just then some guy grabbed me by the belt and threw me out on the deck, and the water ran out of everything. It was really hot, and so then I got up from there, and then they found out who I was. I was the postman, and I knew the names and division numbers of just about everybody, so they put me to work right away, making a list of all the people that I could talk to make sure that we could get a roster of who was there.
How about the ones who died?
Pardon me?
The ones who died.
Oh, well, that's that night. That night I slept right next to the torpedo tubes but right next to me was a bag with his name on it, and it was warmed by the torpedo tubes, and he was put away in his sack. The next day from the destroyer we were on, there was 11 guys that were dropped over the side, and this is a very sad thing to see.
What about the guy from Laredo that you left with your life jacket? What happened to him?
And, I saw on the bag, his name was, and I can't think of his name right now. It was on the sack, so I slept next to him, but no way. What a way to go.
Well, we're glad that you made it.
Pardon me?
We're glad that you made it.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.